You're listening to Desynced Nerds, a Nintendo Switch podcast. This is episode 41, airing on Monday, the 16th of July. Happy Prime Day. We're your hosts. I'm Colin. He's Devon, bringing you all the latest news and hot topics from the internet. You loved that, absolutely, didn't you? This week, we have Switch 2.0s are already being shipped on the market. Dark Souls is too hard even to port, evidently. And we have more Warframe and Fortnite news, but nobody cares. Anyway, Devon, Weekend Gaming, what you been doing?
Octopath! What about you?
And same thing, yeah, Octopath. Let's get on with the news. What? So you've only played like two. No, we're not done. We're not done. Also, that was a sick transition. But you've only played like 2 hours of it.
I meant like I got booted out of the demo, and I'm at like 4 hours. I have restarted that game I think 3 times now, and
Why do you hate yourself?
Because I really like to redo the exact same content over and over and over again, because that's what I find enjoyable. Is there something wrong with that? Is that not how you're supposed to play JRPGs? I'm confused.
Yeah, honestly, like JRPGs are not really long. So if you replay them a bunch, that makes them really long. And so that's, you get more money, more value for your money out of them that way.
That's reasonable.
You're so genius.
I'm so smart. Yeah. That's really what's going on here. But yeah, I mean, I started as Ophelia, and I don't know. I have regretted every first character that I've picked, and so at this point I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna live with the choices that I've made, even if they're bad choices.
No, you should restart and pick Therion this time. And then you'll break the cartridge in half, and then you'll never have to play it.
Genius. Oh, you're so smart.
I know.
Anyway, tell me about your experiences in Octopath.
I've done everybody's chapter 1. I've done my team's chapter 2. I'm starting my team's chapter 3s. I have all the jobs unlocked, all the primary jobs unlocked. I'm 23 hours in. That's it. Wow. Yay. I started with Haunted, and I don't hate my decision because Haunted plus Warriors subclass is amazing. She's invincible. So, yeah. I'm ready for news now.
But also you have to read her awful speech.
I just pretend like she doesn't have a stroke, and it's easy.
Oh, God. That stuff was killing me. Okay, but yeah, news.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'll never not be funny. Anyway, it seems that Nintendo is quietly fixing vulnerabilities. Also, Switch 2.0s.
Yeah, this is basically the Switch 2.0. So, for those not in the know, there was a hardware issue that made hacking Switches fairly trivial. It was literally like you would take a two-pronged paperclip and touch it against two of the porty ports, technical words, and it would cause it to boot in like a recovery mode. And yeah, so very, very trivial to exploit. And they have started selling new Switches without that. I'm kind of sad because I was hoping that this would be the sort of thing that we would get a Switch 3D XL special,
They're not ready for that just yet.
Yeah, obviously they're not, but I could dream. I want something with, a bigger screen, more battery life, more power.
So, I mean, they're shipping with that fix in the hardware level, but they're still not shipping it at 5.0, so they're still hackable.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's coming. The actual 2.0 is coming.
Yeah.
When they start shipping at 5.0, that's when you know it's legit.
I mean, I don't know. This is a cat and mouse game that'll never be won by anyone. It'll get slightly more annoying to do, but you'll always be able to do it. In any case, I cry because I wanted a Switch 2.0, like a real 2.0.
How about I just hurt your feelings some more? Dark Souls looks like it's getting delayed indefinitely. Why? What happened?
We don't actually know anything about the delays. We know that they delayed it to summer, and now we are firmly in summer. I had my first 100-degree day not too long ago, so yeah, no, it's summer. Which I know is cute to some of you like you, but shut up, this is hot for us. And then when someone asked them on the official Twitter account, and they responded by just saying that they have nothing to announce. So they don't know how to fix this. They don't know what to do. And that makes me sad as well.
I had that pre-ordered at one point, and I'm glad I don't anymore, because I'd be invested upset.
I mean, I'm glad you don't have it pre-ordered anymore because I don't want you to break your Switch. So
I wouldn't break my Switch. I'd break my controller.
Okay.
I evidently do really easily.
Yeah. How's that PowerA treating you?
It's in the garbage, so let's move on. Anker has released their own Nintendo branded battery packs. So is that like the single most expensive tech on the market now. Then it's Nintendo and Anchor.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit ago, and we kind of figured that it would be a little overpriced, but this is actually ridiculous. They are obscene. So they're releasing a 20,100 milliamp hour, and that version is $90 through GameStop, whereas the same capacity one is currently on Amazon for $48. So almost double.
Is that post sale Amazon for 48? Because I have that exact one, the 20,100 milliamp. I remember paying about 60 for it like 6 months ago. A year ago.
At it 4 days ago. I guess I didn't camel it, so I don't know how the long term is on that, but at time of reporting it was 48. So I mean,
that's
even
ridiculous.
still,
even at twice the price.
Even at 60, the 68, is that what you said?
I think it was like just at 60.
Yeah, so even at 60, that's still a extra half of it. Like, it's just
ridiculous.
So, there is a slight upgrade. Instead of having only USB-A ports, which is like the standard USB port, it has the USB-C, which theoretically will give you more power transfer. There's no way that it's worth the extra $50 though. I refuse.
There's actually two anchors in that line. There's the 20,100 milliamp hour, and then there's the 20,100 milliamp hour plus. This sounds like it's the plus one. The plus one is worth, I think at the time when I was buying the $60 one, the plus one was worth $80. And I didn't really realize what the difference was, so I didn't opt for that. So this might not actually be that much more, which is kind of crazy to me. But it's still really expensive for a battery bank.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's Anchor, so
it's Anchor, and it's Nintendo branded too. So theoretically, it's they worked out all of the dumbness.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just don't want to spend $90 on a battery pack. That's all.
Yo, I don't want to spend $70 on a Pro controller. But anyway.
What about $90 on a dock?
I didn't. I got the inbox, whatever one, $60, and it works like a charm.
Yeah,
but anyway,
still too much. Yeah, moving on.
Let's stop digressing. Killer Queen has plans, air quotes, for communication on Switch. Please God, yes.
Well, okay, so before you get too excited, did you play the Arena of Valor demo at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So did you see how they were doing communication?
I didn't, thank God. Was it bad?
There was two options. There was a full keyboard, which would be terrible in Killer Queen, but that's not the point. They also it was like hotkeys where if you pressed the right analog stick down, you would get a pre-populated list of, my lane is missing, let's fight dragon or whatever. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm expecting here. I figure it'll either be that, which would be very sad, and I would be disappointed because I'm me, or it'll be voice. And I really hope for voice, but they said the game is focused around IRL co-op, so they really want you to be sitting on the couch with 3 other people, which, I mean, the game started as a arcade stand, so I'm not too surprised that this is kind of where their mind comes from. And yeah, we don't actually know anything, but I'm all ready to be disappointed.
Just Devon things. All right, let's move on. There are many retired Smash Amiibos coming back. Which ones we got? Do we know?
Oh, yes, we do know, but I'm a bad journalist, so...
Somebody knows, just not us.
Yeah, exactly. We do know that they will be $13, $12.99 more specifically, and the other week, I think this was last week, they announced that they would be making new Amiibos for veteran Smash characters that hadn't had Amiibos made yet. So it looks to me like they're trying to make the full lineup available, which would be cool for people that care. I actually am kind of into the idea of a Amiibo collection that is literally just the Smash roster, and if you lay it out like the Smash roster actually sits, that'd be kind of cool. Have like a tiered stand.
That'd be so many. That'd be like $1 million in Amiibo.
I mean, they're
give or take
65 current characters, and they're somewhere between $13 and $15. So math dollars.
Some of them are like 20.
Oh, are they really that bad?
Yeah, some of them are pretty rare.
Amiibos are wild; they get so expensive.
And like Cloud has 2, so I have to assume some of these guys have multiple Smash specific ones. So you need a small loan of $1 million from your dad. no big deal. But you can make a dream a reality. Just open 72 credit cards. Anyway, let's move on. Fortnite got a new patch. What's in this new Fortnite patch?
The only thing that would actually make me consider playing that game again, motion
The gyro?
controls. Yeah,
Yes.
the gyro. I'm into it. I'm fully on board with gyro in handheld or console shooting. I don't know how we existed without it.
Agreed, 100%.
So, yeah. So at some point I'm gonna get back into this when I don't have a 100+ hour JRPG staring me down. Also a random free-to-play title that I'm weirdly enjoying.
That title will get really easy for you to crank through if you stop resetting it. Just a thought. You did that with Xenoblade Chronicles as well. You reset it at some. You were like 5 or 6 hours in, and you just decided to reset it.
There was a
Why?
reason.
Why do
There
you
was
do
a
this to
valid
yourself?
reason.
Yeah, because you used your overdrives, which you get more of later.
Yes, that's what it was, because I blew all my overdrives. Because I didn't. Okay, so yeah, I make poor
And yet you
choices.
didn't know.
Yeah. I make poor choices because I don't have full information, and then when I get the full information, I'm like, oh, that's dumb. I'm gonna just erase that decision because I'm a power gamer, and that's how power gamers are.
Remind me. How far did you get in Xenoblade?
I beat the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
You can't prove
Let's
otherwise.
move on. You're right. I can't. Warframe devs are talking about the possibility for cross-platform play.
Yeah, so when they announced that there would be no cross-platform, there was a huge response, and people are very, very sad. I actually, for once in my life, I didn't hear about an angry response. It was a oh, this sucks kind of thing. So that's nice, I like it when we have complaints about things as a community and we don't resort to death threats. That's good on you guys.
Are we even really trying though? If we don't,
you're not allowed to encourage that, even jokingly. It's not.
oh, sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So strong response. They're talking about it. I want it so bad. I will enjoy. So I actually started playing Warframe on my PC this last weekend, and it's a fun game. It's enjoyable. I remember why I was into it, and the ability to play it both ways would make it like actually a game that I would want to play and take seriously.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, ready to move on. You were throwing me a bit. You said you started to play it. Like, no, we played that a little ago.
yeah, I played it
That's all.
again.
Yeah. Also, there's a bunch of Prime bonuses for Warframe right now, so get on that.
What do you mean? Wait.
Through Twitch.
Oh.
Twitch, Prime, whatever's. There's like 2 sets of them.
Oh,
Get on that.
yeah, I'll have to do that.
Anyway, let's move on. Your favorite person in the whole wide world, Sakurai, talks more about his approach to Smash, which I'm sure is very clean and concise.
Clean, concise, and consistent. That's the important part.
Ooh.
He's consistent. And by consistent, I mean he started it by talking about how he focused the different games to different audiences and how he plans to focus this one on a different audience. But remember, you can't consider your audience when making a Smash game. That's just... Sometimes this man makes no sense to me. I've gotten to the point where I've decided that you just can't take what he says too literally. That's just how you have to approach Sakurai. You have to sift through
I think
it.
he's joking. I think he's messing with the media. He's just saying everything and nothing all at once just to make everybody like butt their heads against each other and the wall. That's like, as a dev, that's what I would do. I would say we would never port it, and then I would 100% release a port. Like, that's the kind of dev that I would be.
But has there ever been a port of the game before? Has there ever been a Smash port?
That would be me. That'd be me, and everybody would be like, "This guy's an idiot,"
And you
and
would
then I
just be
release a port,
laughing.
100%. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I'd be totally straight faced about it. But anyway, on to Sakurai, who's actually doing this.
He said that Melee was focused towards the hardcore audience. They made it super fast paced. They added some like weird technical, highly technical maneuvers. Brawl was then super simplified because the Wii was blowing up, and they wanted it to appeal to the huge base that the Wii had. And then 4 was kind of a mix between the two, but it was also very heavily focused on the 3DS because they wanted to make sure that it ran properly on the 3DS. And then he double tails this into saying that Ultimate is hopefully going to be the middle ground in between Melee and Brawl, and that it's going to be more hardcore than Brawl, but not Melee. Melee was scary. He also talks about items and how items are meant to be an equalizer between players of various skill levels because, in a fighting games are pretty skill intensive, and a better player is going to win 90% of the time. That's just how it works. And so by adding stuff like Final Smashes and like Pokeballs and whatnot, you give the bad players something to kind of a randomness thing to throw in to come back, which is fun. He also specifically calls out that items are here to stay, which confused me in a big way. It didn't even occur to me that items would ever go away from Smash, and that's coming from a character who I play 2 stock Omega stages with no items. Like, I'm not the target audience for that. But I still just can't think of a Smash game that wouldn't have items. That would just be weird to me. So,
that'd be like saying we're gonna take out every CC below 200 in every Mario Kart game from now on.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It would just be weird, and it would make it a completely different game that I don't fully recognize. He also talked about the new 2 heroes, which gets a little nitty-gritty and detailsy. So there's a link to the full interview in the show notes, which I enjoyed a lot. He also, so there's this new feature. I don't know if you've actually heard of this, so this might be news to you, where anytime something cool, air quotes, happens, the game will slow down and zoom in on that situation. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, he talked about it at E3, I thought.
Yeah, I think that's where we first heard about it. So specifically, they say that when someone takes a large amount of damage, they're going to do that, where it like zooms in and whatnot, and it looks really cool. But then also, anytime something happens that they think is going to lead to somebody losing a stock, they will do that same thing. Or not anytime, but sometimes. And I like this, like, part of what makes Smash fun to me, fighting games in general, is how hype the actual, like, hype and high intensity the games are. And so this kind of thing that really, like, pulls you into that is super cool to me. I can't like list the amount of like just fun to watch fighting game clips from tournaments, because it's just everybody's so excited and it's so intense. So yeah.
Did you ever play the Burnout games? The EA racing, the idea is to like run other cars off the road and smash them into stuff.
I played it. I don't remember it super well though.
So anytime you wrecked somebody else's car, it would do that like cinematic pan to show the collision like super slow-mo, and it would show you just owning them. So it's very much like that. It's really cool. It made Burnout a lot of fun. So yeah. I think it's a good addition here.
Nice.
That's all you got for that?
About that particular feature. Then he moved on to more nitty-gritty. I'm really just trying to draw. If this is something you care about, go read it. He talks about like some of the weird technical stuff with the dodge rolls. There's a new short hop command, which again, it's above my head. I don't know Smash that well. I like the competitive scene, but I don't know how to play the competitive scene, so I'll let people who know what they're talking about discuss that. And then so he finally, this is so exciting to me. This makes me so happy. They tweaked 1v1 damage to be higher than in like 4-player free-for-alls or 2v2s or whatever. And they do this specifically for competitive reasons, because in a high level 1v1, tournament finals kind of thing, the games slow down a lot because these players they're careful, they're good, they know what they're doing, they know how to not take unnecessary damage. And so what it caused games to be very slow in 1v1s. And because he doesn't want to sacrifice the 4-player games, they refuse to compromise on that. So they're going to set 4 players as the baseline. And then what they did to kind of hit the middle ground between those two is just buff the 1v1 damage. Just make everybody take more 1 damage in 1v1s. And so Sakurai made a change to the competitive scene, and I'm so excited. He's on board.
But remember, you can't consider your audience, but you need to consider your audience.
When he talks about ideas, it's not worth listening to at all. His ideas are completely worthless. But when he talks about specific things, I believe I trust him.
But when he talks about specific things, you also can't trust his specific things either, because that's worthless as well.
Let me believe. I need this.
Okay.
Take me away from here.
Oh, that's all you got? Okay. Yeah, let's talk about Reggie, because everybody likes Reggie. Reggie is to thank for Fox's inclusion in Starlink. You're welcome, everybody, says Reggie.
I was like, why are you saying you're welcome? You...
No. I'm putting words in his mouth so that I can report on them before he even says them. Says them.
You are a journalist. For those not aware, Starlink is an upcoming Toys to Life game wherein you fly a spaceship. The spaceship is... I actually am not sure how they do this, but somehow the spaceship that you have is connected to your game. And then when you can swap parts out on the spaceship so that it then transfers into the game. Yeah, it is what it is. I think it's cool that you can swap out like hot swapping stuff for strategy reasons. But yeah, so Reggie saw that game and he brought that team to Miyamoto to present in the interest that they would include Star Fox into the game, which is a thing that is happening now. It's actually kind of a big deal. And yeah, for me, the key takeaway here is one, Reggie is Bay. Long live Reggie is Reggie. As Echo has says, thank you, our Lord and Savior Reggie, which 100%, yeah, I agree. But the second takeaway is that this is a new Nintendo. They're showing us that they're working with people, that they're not doing the Nintendo silo thing that they've done in the past where they kind of hide in their own corner and do their own thing. Even if it's not quite to the level that we want it to be, with some of the decisions that they make that are still very, very Nintendo, they are willing to kind of cross-pollinate their stuff with other people. And that, to me, is just so exciting. Nintendo's greatest strength, but also their greatest weakness, in my opinion, is this way of just doing their own thing. And sometimes we get great stuff. We get the Switch, which, apparently you can't sell mobile consoles anymore. It's just not a thing, but the Switch is doing gangbusters. But then we get friend codes, voice chat and apps. It's just so yeah. So the fact that they're kind of working with other people is exciting to me. And I'm taking a lot from a little, but
and Fox, like, this game looks like Fox belongs in it. It looks yeah. It looks like it was made for him. Like it should have been a Star Fox game, but it's not.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the gummy ships from Kingdom Hearts. Like a full fleshed out gummy ship game.
Yeah. And I'm into it. I like those sections.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea, but I don't like the idea that it's going to be super expensive to customize the way I want.
It's still cheaper than EVE Online, so which is the same. It's the same exact game. Anyway, let's move on. I don't know. Another big interview with Octopath with Square's Masashi Takahashi.
Yeah, that one wasn't that bad. Yeah, no, that sounds right to me. As a fellow white American, that sounds perfectly correct. So I think I'm an authority on such things. Anyway, so I love the title. I just had to put it in here. We just created the game that we wanted to play as Japanese developers, which really kind of marks the tone of the whole article. Is they start out by talking about how, in their mind, certain markets only want certain games. You can't make a game for Japan and then expect it to sell it in the US, which they then turn around and immediately say is completely wrong because Bravely Default was their quintessential Japanese game. They actually didn't even plan to bring it to the States. And it was only when Nintendo was just like, no, people are really clamoring for this. This is a thing that people want. They decided to port it. And it did fairly well here. So, one of my key takeaways from this that I hope that they've learned as just a division, but also as a company, is that you don't really need to consider the region. It doesn't matter that much. But yeah, then they talk about how Octopath is already doing well in the States, and we'll talk about that more later. But that's a later story. The feedback that they got from the demo was mostly the same between the regions. So Japan seems the same thing about the game as we do. Everybody's got the same opinions, and that again to me says that the regions don't. It's not super important. It doesn't matter. Like I don't like this idea, and so I'm going to harp on it for this whole little news article. So they started the game and they decided that it would be Switch exclusive when the Switch was still a prototype. It wasn't really announced. It wasn't known that it was going to be successful. So you absolute mad lads. I can't even believe that. Because they call out that people were very, very concerned about it. Because, I mean, again, the Wii U. Like, enough said. So, the fact that they did that's brave. And they did this because they wanted it to be portable. It is meant, and this comes across, I think, very strongly, it is meant for adults. And generally, adults have busy lives. Most of us can't sit in a TV for 100 hours a day, sit in front of a TV for 100 hours to play a game. Like, that's just, it's a big ask. And so by making it portable, they feel like it's more accessible to the target audience. And, you know, I'm into it. It's coming on vacation with me. Both times I go on vacation this month, so that'll be exciting. And then they change gears. They reiterate, he reiterates rather, that this is the game. This is the game that we're getting. There will not, we don't have any DLC planned. There will be no DLC for Octopath. This is current statement. So, do you have thoughts?
I mean, I'd love for there to be DLC, but I mean, if they don't want any, I guess.
Yeah.
Fine.
I definitely agree that it's a little silly in that
it would be so easy too.
Mm-hmm.
Just add another person with another real life job.
Yeah. There's a lot of routes they could go with that, and I appreciate the principled stance and the idea that they don't want it to turn into, you know, Final Fantasy 15, where they're still releasing DLC. What, 3 years later? 4 years later? How long has it been since that game came out?
I think it came out 20. I don't know.
Right.
I was gonna say 16, but that's not right. It's older than that, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So we think that it's at least 3 years old. So yeah, they don't want it to be another 3-year-old game that's still getting DLC release. Like, that's kind of silly. So
yeah, because they don't want it to literally print money like Final Fantasy 15 does. That's silly. Why would you want that? Especially when the fans want it. That's why they're paying for it still. That's ridiculous.
He's an artist, okay? He's an artist.
I mean, he's considering his player base. So how artisty can he be? You can't consider your player base.
That may need to be the show title. Wisdom from Sakurai. Don't consider. Yeah. He does go on to say that they're talking about more games under the Octopath brand, but talks are ongoing. They're not sure. This is before this interview came out, before the game actually fully released, so they didn't know about the crazy demand that they were experiencing. So who knows? He does also say that they've been given a full division and they will be pursuing new experiences going forward. And he explicitly calls out there will be no Final Fantasy VI remake coming from him or his division. Which, and you just don't care. I expected that to be a big deal to you.
I mean, yeah, I don't care. It's not the only really good Square division. They have a million and they're all great, except for Tokyo RPG Factor. I'm a huge fan of them.
Just gonna go there. Yeah.
But they're not like, that's not like Square. That's the separate thing created by Square. That's like Intelligent Systems. It's Nintendo, but it's not Nintendo.
I feel like that's a different. We're gonna get into a semantic debate that is not good.
After the show,
yeah.
Or like right now?
No, I'm saying I'm
Okay.
going to sidebar this semantic debate that we're starting on.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to tell me about Mario Kart?
Yes. No, I was talking in Twitch chat. I'm sorry. Nintendo announces further updates to Mario Kart. What do we got, Devin?
So,
how many cups are they adding?
Apparently, too, according to this 4chan leak that I'm not actually going to give real airtime to. In a Twitter video from, there's a Q&A with Nintendo's, why did I take this name? Shunya Takahashi. He confirms rather, there will be new updates, but they don't specify anything, literally nothing beyond that. They also reiterate that Splatoon will be getting stuff through December, but that's old news, and we knew about that. And then, yeah, so the options for this, in my mind, are courses, characters, cups, and maybe modes. Modes would be kind of weird. I don't really know what they would do for that, but I would love to see any kind of thing, like something like that to move forward. And honestly, I'm in for this. As long as it's not just new characters, because I don't really care about characters. Courses and modes would be awesome, and I would absolutely dust off Mortal Kombat. I wrote MK, so of course I read Mortal Kombat in my head and not Mario Kart. Oh, I cannot. I should stop shortening things. Anyway, would this do it for you? If we got new courses, new modes, would you get back into?
I mean, I played this a couple weekends ago.
Did you really?
Jasmine's little brother was over, and yeah, we just busted it out. It's a great couch co-op game, and especially for me, I think that's basically my only couch co-op game. So, yeah, I think because that night we're like, what do you want to play? We have Horizon Zero Dawn or Mario Kart. I guess we're playing Mario Kart by default.
You could just watch him play like Horizon Zero Dawn. Don't be a bad host.
That's what he didn't. He wasn't a big fan. He's never played any Nintendo anything in his life. He's a very sheltered child. He's only ever had a PS3, and so this PS4 is like newfangled technology for him. So I let him play Horizon, and it was crazy. And oh my god, that game is amazing too. But anyway, that's yeah. Yes, I would play it if this update came to Mortal Kombat 8. Yeah.
I hate you.
You ready to move on?
All I'm saying is we need to do more of this. I want to play more of that game. But yeah, ready. Let's go.
Panic Button did an AMA on the Switch subreddit.
Yep. So, just there. Okay, again, full link in the show notes. There was a lot. It was a very long AMA, so go for that. I link both the actual AMA and a summary done by DualShockers. So whatever you want. But yeah, just some bullet points. They're non-committal on motion controls, but they say it was a weird quote where it was like, "We like to add new features to games that aren't gimmicks," and I feel like we're at the point where we know that motion controls aren't gimmicks for shooters, but I don't know. It was
also Panic Button has added it to 2 games already.
Yeah, so I don't really know what that was about. It felt like a weird way to say what they were saying. So, they go on to say that Nintendo works closely with them on technical details and game features, and then again they reference motion controls here. They say that Nintendo was a big proponent of the motion controls for the Switch games. And then they bring up their Subnautica port. So they're porting Subnautica to the PS4 and the Xbox One. And then when someone was like, "Oh, so is this an announcement? Is this coming to the Switch?" They say, and I quote, "Anything is possible." So to me, this feels like a soft confirmation. Just in like, why would you bring that up in a AMA about a different console? Like, why would you even mention it? But I don't know. I'm in for that too. I actually was just looking at the PC version 3 days ago. Somebody was ranting about how it was amazing. So I'm just gonna hold off and wait for the Switch version, hopefully. And then
yeah,
yeah,
I've also heard that. I've heard amazing things about it, so I'm totally down for that as well.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I'm into. So, and then finally, the last bullet point that I cared about, he wraps up by saying that the worst part of their job is that they have to turn down a lot of people because they just have too much going on. They've got too much on their plates. Which, I mean, we know that they're working on Warframe. We know that they're obviously working on the Subnautica port. Presumably, when Warframe is done, they'll move on to something else Switch. So,
didn't we hear they're working on Code Vein? No, I made that up. I think I made that up. I thought I heard that they were working on Code Vein for something.
I don't even know what Code Vein is.
Animu, Dark Souls, Vampire Focus.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I've not heard of that. That's very
Ruru
niche.
can tell you all about it.
I'm sure he can. So yeah, that's it for the Panic Button. Again, fully linked. There's a summary. There's the full link. Don't go to the full link. Reddit is terrible for this sort of thing. Just go to the summary.
All right, let's move on. Mega Man X Legacy features super easy mode for not me.
No, for you.
It's totally not meant for me.
This is for you.
I'm sorry.
This has your name all over it. But yeah, it's called Rookie Hunter, and when you play with Rookie Hunter mode enabled, you take half damage from everything, and then you no longer get instant death from ravines and peaks, which I don't know what that means, but I'm going to put it in here because that's what they said. And so this can be toggled anytime in the pause menu or in the main menu of the game. And I mean, I don't know. I want to highlight this because I like it. I think that it's a good thing to make, especially games like this that are meant to be brutally hard, in order to give a mode such that other people can access them. I think is a good thing. I honestly would go so far as to say that they didn't go far enough, and that taking half damage is really, like, they could have done better. They could have made it easier, and that would have been a good thing, but I don't know. I'm an opinion.
Still not my jam. I don't care what they do to it. It's still an action platformy type game that I'm just not about.
Says the guy who bought Bomb Chicken this last week.
That's different. That's not even. That's a puzzle game.
Okay.
It's a puzzle game with chickens that explode. Like you can't even make that comparison. He just poops bombs out. It's hilarious. It's the best game that I can't play right now because Octopath is eating my entire life. But as soon as I'm done, in about 100 hours from now, I'm going to be playing a lot of Bomb Chicken. I also really like that company, even though they're like, I like them on the outside looking in. I never buy a lot of their stuff. Knit-Roam, I think it's called. But like, I love their aesthetic. I love all their games. I never have time for them. So this one I'm making time for.
You still have Wolf too. You still have Smo. You still have Bayonetta 2.
I still haven't finished Bayonetta 2. I still want to play Torna for XC2. That's not out just yet. And then, like, pretty soon here, I'm going to have Valkyria Chronicles 4. I still haven't technically finished Battle Chasers, and I want a new game plus that. Plus the Mario Rabbids DLC. Yeah.
We need to do a whole segment on, like, backlogs and how we handle backlogs.
And how we handle backlogs?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I handle backlogs. I don't. I just buy the next game and move on.
Just continue adding to that list.
Yeah. Yep. One day I'll get fired and then I'll have plenty of time until that day comes.
The dream.
Correction, Tycho? Is that what that is?
Correction, comma. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Correction, comma. Tycho will have a drum controller.
Yeah, so this is that drum game that I was talking about last week that I was super into, but then I found out it was only motion controls. And then I just now found out that it's also got a drum controller that isn't advertised very well, I guess. I don't know. In any case, yeah, it has a drum controller. I just wanted to issue the correction, and I want it real bad. I will buy this dumb plastic accessory for a dumb game because I like this. It's fun. Shut up. Don't judge me.
So the only reason Bomb Chicken's a bad idea for me is because it doesn't come with a dumb plastic toy?
No, the reason Bomb Chicken's a dumb idea for you is because it's every genre that you dislike mixed into one game. You don't like platformers. I don't think you like puzzle games. Do you like puzzle games?
Yeah, I like puzzle games a lot. Fight me. You don't know me. Don't act like you know me. The platformer thing is 100% true, though. Yeah, you know me a little bit.
I've literally watched you be like, "Oh, this game looks so cool." Oh yeah, it's a platformer. Never mind. Never mind.
I mean, Shovel Knight is on my Switch because it looks great.
You'll never actually play Shovel Knight, and I know that for a fact.
I've played a little bit and I got stuck and I quit it. Yeah.
Yeah, because Shovel Knight is one of those games that's known for being very hard, and it doesn't have an easy mode that I know of. So
I can't wait for Cuphead to come. Anyway, let's move on to the last bit of Octopath news. Octopath is suffering to keep up with sales in the U.S. It's worldwide, right? Or is it just the U.S.?
It's the U.S. and Japan at least. I don't know about the EU. So, in the U.S., what was it? Yesterday, I think it said Amazon said 1 to 2 month delivery time, and now it just says temporarily out of stock. You can order it later, and yeah, in Japan they're seeing a similar thing. It got so bad to the point that Square Enix actually, released a statement that was just like, "Sorry, we didn't expect it to do so well. We're sorry. We'll do better," kind of thing. And it just, I don't know. I love seeing this. This is so silly to me because it's just like, we don't know how it's gonna do. I don't know. Do we really want to do this? Do we really want to release a game? You know, you're dumb for releasing a game for the Switch. This is what they were told, and then literally cannot keep it in stock.
No. They didn't release a game for the Switch. They were releasing a game for the NX. That is dumb, but you know.
Have faith in Nintendo. Nintendo does really well every other generation. Okay.
Every other one. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. And they should have known better.
Trust in the numbers.
I don't see why this couldn't run on the 3DS. Why wouldn't you make it for both? I guess because it'd probably be way too big. No, it's not that big. File size. I don't know. I feel like they could have mitigated their fears by also putting it on the 3DS, which everybody and their dog has 3 of.
I mean, I sold mine, but yeah, fair point. I definitely agree.
I mean, I don't have one either. So
you don't? I thought you.
No, I haven't had one in like 2 years, 3 years.
Oh. Well, I stand corrected. Okay. Well, yeah, so this is the thing, and it's hilarious, and I love it, and it makes me excited because, I don't know, if there was any company that needed to be kicked in the pants to actually support the Switch, I think Square was it. We still don't have any news about the Dragon Quest port, and
they're trying, man. They're trying real hard. They got screwed by the change in, well, I don't even remember what it was anymore. There was some change in
Unreal
the engine they use. Yeah, yes. That's what it is.
They're using Unreal Engine 3. The Switch is running Unreal Engine 4, and they haven't put the energy into upgrading it. Like,
I mean, it's probably really difficult, or they would have just done it. No?
I haven't used Unreal Engine at all, but I will say that in other environments like that, where you're going from like 1 to 2, it's not that bad to upgrade. I don't know about Unreal Engine specifically, and they may be weird in that they kind of shaft the developers, but going from Angular 2 to Angular 3 is not that bad.
Well, don't worry, because soon Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 7 will come to the Switch, and then they'll be on it. And then all those mobile ports for 3 and 6 and 4 and 2 and 1 and 5. I have 5 and 6 on my iPhone. So surely those will come over soon. They did say though early on, like if they're gonna port something to consoles from now on, they don't want to just do a straight port without adding stuff. So I mean, maybe they have stuff in the works. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They've got that same Nintendo appeal where it's like they can just release their old crap and it'll print money, and that's just. But they just don't want to.
They have mobile versions right now that they could just port over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Square Enix things. But yeah, with that. We are on the question of the time period, which is this week. How do you feel about physical pre-order bonuses? This came about because of the... Every time I forget, Valkyria Chronicles pre-order bonus, and then also the Shantae pre-order bonus, both of which were pretty cool. And I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts. So, with that said, the poll options are 1, I love it, and it definitely pushes me over the edge on pre-orders. 2, I don't care about it either way. 3, they're cool, but they will not force a decision for me either way. And 4, boo to all pre-order bonuses, which, as I've said, is where I want to be, but I'm not. I'm a sucker for an art book, and it's a bad thing. If you would like to vote, you can have your voice heard at bit.ly/DSNpoll39. Alternatively, there is a channel in the Discord specifically meant for discussing the poll of the time period, which I welcome you to join. And with that...
Luigi, winner!
I'm so happy with some of these transitions. They're so good. If you would like to email the show, you can do so at desyncednerds@gmail.com. If you prefer tweeters, you can tweet at the show at desyncednerds, DESYNCED, or at either of us individually. I'm at Kulana, KULANAH, and he's at DSN Colin, DSN COLIN. If you want to support the show, we are on Patreon at patreon.com/desyncednerds. If you want to do so non-monetarily, you can rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher, and we will read that here towards the end of the show. If you want to see us live, we are live every Monday at 6:30 PST-ish, 9:30 EST. And those will both be at twitch.tv/desyncednerds, and our VODs will all be up on YouTube after the fact at Desynced on YouTube. We're also on Discord, as I've said, at bit.ly/DSNDiscord. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Peace.